Welcome back to the Automation Podcast, the world's #1 industrial automation product and technology show. Thanks to you, our audience of highly skilled automation professionals. Thank you for being a member of our audience, and thank you for tuning back in this week. Now, for those new to the show, my name is Shawn Tierney of Insights in Automation, and each week I invite a new vendor to come on the show to tell us about their products and technologies. And during the presentation, I play the role of the audience and ask questions that I think you, the members of our audience, have. And for those who are listening to the show, I'll also try to point out anything that you may not uh, learn about in the by not seeing the presentation. So I'll call those out as well as need be, so that those folks listening will know about that information as well. Now, with that said, I do want to welcome on to this week's show, Kristen. Kristen, before you jump into cymatic industrial computing, could you just take a moment to introduce yourself to our audience?
Yes, of course. Hi, Shawn. Thank you for having me on today. I'm Kristen Quasey. I am the U.S. Industrial PC Product Marketing Manager for Siemens. So I've been with Siemens for about 2.5 years now. I started out in their technical marketing leadership development program, where I got to rotate through different parts of the business, and then finally landed on our factory automation business unit, where I'm in the product marketing team. I have a background in mechanical engineering from Penn State, and right after Penn State, joined with Siemens. So really excited to be here, and excited to give you guys an introduction into the Siemens somatic IPC world.
And I'm looking forward to it too, because I really don't know anything about your line of IPCs. So let me just turn it back over to you and jump right in.
Yeah, thank you. And yeah, that's really why I was also excited to hop on this podcast today, because people don't know too much about IPCs, and it's something we really want to highlight here at Siemens, that we do sell these. They're out there, and they're really cool. They're really high powered. So I'm excited to talk to you guys about it today and really just give you that first introduction to IPCs, and then getting into an overview of our product portfolio, highlighting just some of our specific products that we're coming out with and some applications. And then I'll also touch briefly on how our IPCs are contributing to different AI solutions. So with that, I'll get started here. So first, let's just start with the why behind IPCs and why you can really expect to see them more and more in production and manufacturing environments. So the demand for IPCs is really driven by this growth of digitalization and plants wanting more transparency on their operations and on their plant floor, which really comes with an increase in data. So, this data can contribute to finding areas for improvement on the manufacturing floor, or optimizing different processes, or you can really use this data as even a tool for predictive maintenance. So really everybody wants more data. And in order to, capture that data, you're going to need a PC that can process and store large amounts and large volumes of this data. And it's also really important that this data is protected, because often, we're using sensitive data that you don't want external parties to be able to access. With this, we're also really seeing an increase in companies that want to start exploring things like the industrial edge and virtual PLCs. Those are some topics that have been coming up, at least in the world of Siemens, that we're trying to, promote and give exposure to. So you're going to need a place to run those different platforms. So that's when IPCs also start coming in. And then finally, you're going to see PCs are going to have to be used in the plant floor, in an industrial environment where they're going to be exposed to different harsh conditions, such as large temperature ranges, shock, vibration, things of that sorts, where really industrial grade hardware components are going to be necessary. And of course, that is found within an industrial PC. And they're really ready to take on these different challenges because they're built to a higher standard, which also means they're going to have a longer life cycle in these harsh environments. So really start thinking about a PC-based solution when you have those large amounts of data that need processed and stored, when security is needed, or when you need processing in a harsh environment. So those are kind of really the trends and requirements around industrial PCs. And then you'll see, as I kind of dive a little bit deeper into our portfolio, that somatic IPCs are equipped to handle a wide range of applications. And here are just a few examples of general IPC applications. So we have here recording data that's directly on the machine. You might do this with some of our box PCs, or allowing those box PCs to really be the interface between the machine and the IT level of data. Or you might need machine-based control and visualization tasks that you can just do with one device. So that's really where you're going to see our different panel PCs and even our mobile devices with different touch screens come into play so you can visualize. And then finally, also if you need to manage data really in the control room, you can do that with some of our powerful rack servers as well. So really then looking at somatic industrial PCs, we really provide and focus on providing technology that has the latest PC technology. So in all of our IPCs, you're going to see us offering mostly the high-end Intel processors from the different Core i series, Xeon series, Atom series. And you can really expect to see also a greater incorporation of different NVIDIA GPUs for high-end computing and simulations and AI applications soon. So please keep a lookout for that. That's going to be something that's really exciting coming up here, is getting more incorporation of high-end GPUs into our products. And yeah, with this high-end technology, we're really just focusing on giving our customers that technological advantage, giving them a way to really increase their productivity as well. Also, you can see here, big number, 90 million configurations. So all of our IPCs are completely made to order for the customer's needs. So for every single IPC that I'll show here on the next slide, you can pretty much choose what type of CPU you wanted, how much RAM you need, storage you need, what kind of drivers you need in it. They are completely customizable. So whether your application is small or complex, you can really choose exactly what you need, which is pretty cool. Also here, built to the highest standard, we're making our own main boards in our German factory, and they're going through a ton of different testing. The IPCs as a whole are going through a lot of testing, stress and endurance testing, making sure that they're reliable and continuous in operation, and avoiding failure early on. So you can really guarantee that you're going to come across a great high quality product when you're working with our somatic IPC portfolio. And also with this, touching on these different configurations and production, I also want to highlight that we do actually assemble a few of our IPCs here in the US in our Lebanon, Ohio facility. So we do have a handful here that are in the USA that will be a quicker shipping time for you than if you're ordering from Germany. Also on here, just to highlight long-term availability. So you get 4 to 6 years availability, and then an additional 5 years for repair services, and then these integrated diagnosis. So we're going to have some software that can enable preventative maintenance with early prediction of potential failures.
So I just want to comment here. I think it's great that you're doing your own main boards, because that allows you to, well, provide the long-term availability you just talked about, and customization as well. And it's interesting because I don't think a lot of people know Siemens has their own like microchip business, right? Where you guys you create products for fabs. So I think that's very interesting that you're able to take those two sides of the business and actually manufacture your own IPC motherboards, which is very cool. But let me go ahead and turn it back to you. I just wanted to comment on that.
Yeah, it is pretty cool. And I luckily had the experience of going to the factory where they're making these boards a few months ago, and it is pretty unbelievable. So like I said, high quality, a lot of testing going on there. So always going to get a really high quality product out of us. But then looking actually at our big picture overview of our portfolio, you're going to see a wide range of offerings, from our somatic box PCs to our mobile device, which was recently released, to our different versions of panel PCs, to rack PCs, things of that sort. So we offer really a wide range of actual physical sizes, different performance capabilities, and expandability. Like I said, all of these products are fully configurable. So it's really dependent on what you need and what what type of problem the customer is trying to solve. Based on, if you can see the screen here, there are a ton of products on here. So really no problem is too big or too small for us to solve. And just looking at these pictures here, some of these IPCs, like the 127E listed here, it's small enough that it can just fit in the palm of your hand, versus we have some of these rack servers that are, huge, that are actually going to be sitting on a rack in a data center. So really big variance in sizes. And like I said, we have a few of our products that are actually assembled in Ohio. So that's going to be our 2 series and 4 series PCs. So the IPC 227G and the 427E are in Ohio, along with the 277G and the 477E. So those 2 and 4 series are going to be assembled in Ohio. Here's just one of the products that I wanted to highlight here, the BX39A and PX39A. So this is our box PC and panel PC. Like I just said, the panels and boxes typically go together in their capabilities. One is just the panel version where you're going to have a touch screen with visualization capabilities. And these 2 PCs are going to be, ready to handle your industrial computing tasks really in the control cabinet. So just to highlight some of these characteristics for you, they're all going to have a powerful, high performance Intel 11th gen CPU within it, both being fan free. So basically zero maintenance on them, which is pretty nice. Also, as I mentioned before, everything is configurable. So again, if you need more RAM on a certain PC, or you need a different driver or such, you can really configure that. You can work with your distributor or Siemens salesperson to figure out exactly what you need. And I also wanted to highlight on here, so this box PC, and specifically the 39A, it comes with a Google Core accelerator. So this means that it is a platform for AI applications, and I'll touch a little bit on that in a few slides here of what it's really capable of. And I also want to highlight that the BX39A was also recently released as an industrial edge device. So it is now ready to handle all of your industrial edge apps. And I believe you had on recently Brian Lilly, who talked about the VPLC and such. So that's on the industrial edge. So this box PC is ready to handle those types of applications. So these 2 are really flexible in their capabilities. They're pretty small in size, where, probably about the size of a brick, yet they're really powerful, and now can also support AI applications and industrial edge applications. So to just quickly highlight some of these, so some things where you may find use for these box and panel PCs. These include any kind of complex control tasks, and using it as a platform for even some of our software controllers. Meanwhile, you might see the panel PC, again, used for different visualization solutions, SCADA client or third-party software, things of that sorts, or even communication of a whole production line and its data, and transferring that data to higher level IT systems. And then, as I mentioned, this relatively new BX39A has that Google Coral accelerator card in it. So it can support AI applications. And this slide here that I'm showing, if you're able to see the slide, gives a few examples of what AI means with this box PC. So we can look at different vision inspections. So some applications here are on a bottling line. If it's checking to see that the bottles are filled to the correct amount, or that the lids are closed properly all the way on the bottles, things of that sort. Or it's even using robots that are picking and placing a variety of objects where maybe they're not trained on the exact objects that they're being told to pick up. If they're handed just a variety of things, think of like an Amazon packaging line where you're going to have a bunch of different orders with a bunch of different objects, and maybe the robot's not trained on every single object that it needs to pick up. This is one application that the BX39A could be used for. Also using for autonomous mobile robots and autonomous vehicles on the production floor, and then just overall condition monitoring. So that was just a quick overview of one of our products. And then I want to highlight coming soon, planned release, hopefully in the next couple of days here, is our Somatic IPC RS828A, which is a rack server PC. It's our 2-unit server that is really ready to handle data center level volumes of data. So like I said, this is a planned release of in the next couple of days, hopefully, that you can expect to see more publicity and a sales release of the 828A. So just some overall characteristics about this product. It has an AMD processor, so a little bit different than our typical Intel processors that we've been using. It can host up to 8 terabytes of memory and host up to 8 drives. And support up to 2 high-powered NVIDIA GPUs. So this is an absolute powerhouse of a server. And if you can see here on the photos that I have up on the screen, the top photo is the server with its kind of lid on the front, and then popping that front part off, you're going to also find 6 hot swappable fans, which is pretty cool. But like I mentioned, this is going to be a really high-powered server that is supporting up to 2 NVIDIA GPUs that are ready for data center level AI training, different complex simulations, and AI graphics. So yeah, anticipate seeing more about these servers coming out here soon, but it's really ready to handle pretty much any high computing task that you could think of. As you can see here with all these different characteristics that I've listed.
I mean, everybody knows you can get, a rack mount server, but this really supports that higher temperature up to 45 degrees C,
Yep.
as well as the EMC shock and vibration that you would expect from an IPC. So very interesting. And I love the hot swappable fans and up to 8 drives and up to 6 terabytes of memory. And, the wattage on the AC power supply coming in, 2,600 watts with 350 watts each for the GPUs, and 2 10 gigabit Ethernet ports on board. So those are some pretty high-end specs. So let me turn it back to you. Go ahead.
Awesome. Yeah, so like I was saying, yeah, high-powered rack server that we have here that should be coming out soon. And I also just want to touch on real quick for people who are familiar with our products already, specifically our rack servers. We're kind of now classifying our rack IPCs in a new way where we're breaking them down into different classifications that help the customer identify which PCs fit into their application properly. So coming out soon, you'll be seeing kind of a new naming convention, again, just to kind of help the customer understand which IPC they might need for their application. So we're going to have these IPC rack workstations that are really for complex and graphically sophisticated applications, along with some of our rack clients. So this is our cost optimized product that's really a desktop operating system for just standard applications like visualizing and controlling. And then, like I mentioned, this rack server that we have coming out, these are really going to be the powerful CPU, GPU intensive applications that are really focusing on, again, virtualization, AI training, especially AI training at the data center level, things of that sort. So we're now going to be coming out kind of with this new system. So just keep an eye out for that as well. And finally, last product I just want to highlight here real quick is our Somatic IPC MD34A, our mobile device. So like Shawn said, he actually did an unboxing of this on the automation blog. So I included the link there for any of you that can see my screen. But he went into great detail, and thank you, Shawn, for promoting this and showing everyone the details of the tablet. But if you didn't see that, I'll just give a quick overview here while we have you. So we have this tablet PC that is going to be great for data collection, having Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, and cellular connection on it. It's also going to have high durability design with IP65 and MIL standards. So it's ready to perform in extreme conditions. It also is going to have a nice long 6-hour long battery life, along with having these batteries being hot swappable. So you can actually have some in a charging port ready to go. And then once your battery, might be coming to a dying point in your actual tablet, you can swap it out for a new one. Like I said, high powered here, Intel Core i5 processor, going to have a Windows 10 operating system on it as well. And we have a few different versions of this tablet, some of them having an RFID reader on it, a barcode scanner, and then coming with a few accessories as well, such as a docking stations and strap accessories, GPS location capabilities. But if you want additional information on it, getting really into the technical details here, like I said, Shawn did an unboxing for us, which was fantastic. He did a great job of getting into those details. So you can check that out on the automation blog by looking up First Look Somatic IPC Tablet MD34A. And then if you also are interested in maybe getting one for yourself, we've paired up with RS Components, and I've provided the link here where you can just go ahead and buy one online straight from them. So, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, I was going to ask about that. That is cool because some people may just want to get it for the plant floor. Maybe they're not going to buy a bunch of other Siemens stuff, but this may be their first time using a Siemens product. I got to tell you, I mean, the accessories, it's just you can get it with a barcode reader or RFID. I mean, it's just a very well thought out product. Now, I will say one thing: it does not have like a RTX video card in it, so this is made for work, not for your personal life. But I was really thoroughly impressed with it, especially the docking station and the rechargeable batteries. Those are just really cool features. And let me turn it back to you.
Yeah, no, thank you for highlighting that. Like you said, if maybe you're not interested in buying a ton of Siemens stuff, or you just want to check out one or two tablets, like I said, they're available on RS Components online store. So you can just buy them, individually there, which is pretty awesome. But just to highlight a few applications where you might see use for this type of tablet, digitalization of service jobs that are going to give people remote access to plants, people in the service industry that have to go into plants and do some sort of maintenance. These tablets can also be effective there. You can also see, you could have it mounted up on a forklift. We have vehicle docking stations also available, and they could help guide operators in the right direction throughout a factory for really just timely delivery of goods throughout the factory. Or you can just have real-time access to field data while you're outdoors. We have an outdoor version that has the brightness level on it ready to, be outside. So a lot of different applications for the tablet PC. Some we probably haven't even thought of because you can use it wherever you see fit. And yeah, so like I said, check it out on Shawn's unboxing.
I want to throw out this too, and this is something when I was in the field, it could get frustrating if you go into a facility for the first time and the person you're meeting with is like in the bowels of the plant. So you could have this at the guard shack, and with its GPS tracking, it could actually have a map to take you to where you're going on it. And because it's industrial, you don't have to worry about falling, worry about somebody breaking it. I mean, if you wanted to, I mean, you can break anything, right? But I just think it would be awesome, if you have somebody go into a site that has a very complicated pathing mechanism and you need people, even a truck driver or somebody making a delivery, you could just type the destination in it, give it to the person, and that would take them all the way to their destination and back to the guard shack. So I just wanted to throw that out there. Not its primary application, but it's something I know I've been frustrated with, and having that tracking ability on it is really cool. But let me turn it back to you, Kristen.
Yeah, definitely. And like I said, I'm sure there's even more applications out here that we haven't thought of where, this tablet could really be of great use. So very flexible in that sense. And then just finally, to wrap us up here, I want to just touch on a little tiny bit of AI with somatic IPCs. So I know AI is a big topic, can't cover it, especially in the last couple of minutes here of this podcast, but IPCs are becoming more and more connected with the artificial intelligence world. And so I just wanted to touch a little bit on how you can expect to see our IPCs involved in AI in the future. So really here, I want to show as well that there's two different kinds of AI essentially. So there's AI training and then also AI inference. So you're going to see really coming out from Siemens, there's going to be a lot of different somatic IPCs that are going to be released with AI capabilities. We're going to use that phrase a lot. But some of these IPCs are going to be better suited for AI training, while others are better intended for AI inference. So just to touch on that real quick and what the difference between that is. So AI training is really where conclusions are made based on different node inputs and outputs, and they're wrapped up into an algorithm. So I put a little analogy here on the slide that think of this as if you're, preparing your sales team to go out and sell a new product. You're going to give them different product information, different customer insights, and sales techniques. And this is the training of data that is typically done with our large rack PCs, which is shown in this graphic. So that's what you're going to see with that large RS828 that's coming out, the more AI level training. Meanwhile, AI inference is really what's done when that training model is able to apply what it's learned to new inputs. So this is where you're going to find our box PCs, like the first one I showed you, the BX39A. So this, following along with the analogy, would be when like your sales team is now they're ready to go out and talk to an actual customer in a meeting and apply what they've studied to answer different customer questions that they've never heard before and things like that. So it's really when you're applying this learned data that you've been training on at the AI training stage. So like I said, you're going to hear us talking about IPCs with AI capabilities, while some are AI training, while others are AI inference. So typically the training are going to be those rack PCs, inference with the box PCs. And to just show you a quick example here, this is a video, and I guess for those of you listening, you can't see the video, but I'll describe it here for you. So this is a AI PCB defect detection system that was put together by one of our partners, Data Monsters. So they are utilizing one of our Siemens box PCs, the IPC 520A tensor box, to do a vision inspection system of a PCB. They're using this tensor box and a camera, and then they've trained this model to be able to detect when there's a defect on one of these chips. So there's tiny little parts on these chips, of course, and it's really hard for the human eye to detect when something's different than it should be or something is wrong. So they've trained this model to be able to detect these different changes. And then they were also using technology from NVIDIA, the Omniverse replicator, to use synthetic data. So they created different models of what different defects could look like, so that the model is prepared for being able to see changes that maybe it hasn't seen before and able to identify that, hey, something is wrong on this chip. So if you are listening, I encourage you to go and watch this video real quick, or go to the Data Monsters YouTube channel, and you'll be able to see this AI PCB defect detection system.
Yeah, and if you don't mind, I'm just going to jump in here for the audio audience. We saw in that clip, this is a circuit board the size of probably a thumb drive, and a lot of surface mount technology on it. And there were examples where there was too much solder, or the surface mount, maybe resistor or capacitor was skewed. But there was also instances where just the logo on the chips was moving, just be based on, maybe the logo was centered or the logo was kind of off to the right. And so they were training the system to know the difference of, hey, we actually have a problem with the soldering of a surface mount piece of a component, or the component's missing, versus ignore the logo on the chip, and the details on the chip, the part number and whatnot are just skewed in a different position. So I thought it was very interesting. Definitely recommend you check out the video if you're listening to the show, or even if you're watching the show, go check it out. But back to you, Kristen.
Yeah, definitely. And again, shout out to our partners, Data Monsters and NVIDIA, for putting that video together and highlighting, again, our box IPC. But yeah, just in conclusion, this was just really a introduction to somatic IPCs. There is a ton more that we could talk about, and even we could have just done this whole presentation on AI applications or applications in general. So there's a lot more to be said about it. And just going back to the beginning here of why IPCs, they're really just connecting information across all corporate levels. They're pulling in different types of data. They're providing that computing power that's needed in this day and age. And digitalization trends are really increasing these demands as well. So with IPCs, we can monitor and control these different processes. We can do powerful data acquisition, and they're really there just to support whatever type of data monitoring and control that you really need, especially in those hazardous and extreme environments. So thank you, Shawn, for having me on. This is my contact information here at the end. Like I said, I'm Kristen Quasey. I'm the product marketing manager for our somatic IPCs in the US. So if anybody wants more information or is curious about our IPCs, feel free to contact me. I put my email here, which is kristen.quasey@siemens.com. So you can contact me directly if you need. But yeah, there's much more to talk about after that. But thank you for giving me the opportunity to just give this quick high-level overview of our IPCs.
Well, Kristen, I want to thank you for coming on the show and bringing us up to speed on the product line. I know a lot more now than I did before we started. So just really appreciate you taking time out of your busy day to come on the show and tell us all about Siemens IPCs.
Thank you.
Well, I hope you enjoyed this episode. And I want to thank Kristen for coming on the show and bringing us up to speed on Simatic industrial computing products. And with that, if you did enjoy this episode, please consider giving us a like, a sub, and a share. That is the fuel that keeps this show on the air. And if you want to join our community and follow me and get in touch, you can do so over at automation.locals.com. And of course, you'll always find all of my training courses over at theautomationschool.com. With that said, no matter what happens, I want to encourage you to stay courageous, stay fearless, and until next time, my friends, peace.